Okay, let's go back home to the USA. So there's a loss in all of this was a very important House Oversight Committee hearing on Minnesota. And this is a story that needs to have some resolution. So you'll remember that 62 people have been arrested and charged. They've been convicted, 62 convicted, mostly Somalis, okay, for stealing $9 billion in federal money. Well, how the hell could that happen? $9 billion is a lot of money. So the committee called the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, and the Attorney General, Keith Ellison, to testify. Joining us now from Washington is Congressman Pat Fallon from Texas, who is a member of the Oversight Committee. So what's the headline, Congressman, that you heard today?
Well, Bill, they weren't, they didn't want to take responsibility and they wanted to deflect, as I suspected they would. And the Democrats on the Oversight Committee just wanted to talk about Trump. They didn't want to talk about the issue at hand, which is there were largely in the Somali community billions of dollars that were stolen from the American taxpayer. And I want to give you an example with specificity, Bill, for your listeners and viewers. There was something called the Early Intensive Development and Behavioral Intervention. It was for kids with autism. And Medicaid billed out in 2018, $671,000 in Minnesota. 6 years later, they billed out $342 million, 500x. Now, you can't tell me that suddenly there was an explosion of autism in the state of Minnesota. Clearly, it was fraudulent. And these are the kinds of examples where, 300 million here, 200 million here, Bill, suddenly you've got billions.
Okay. So it's federal money that is involved, which is why you're involved. And the feds made the case. Walz had to know that there were problems in Minneapolis with the Somalis defrauding the federal government. Would that be a fair statement? He had to know that?
He had to know that. And in fact, we don't have to just go based on, assertions or speculation. We have, Bill, when we do an investigation in the Oversight Committee, we're lucky if we get one or two whistleblowers because it's difficult for them. They face, punishment and ostracized and all that. There are 30 people that work in Minnesota in his administration that have been working with us on the Oversight Committee. That is an astonishing number. That's how bad it was. Everybody knew what was going on, and the Walz administration looked the other way because they wanted those 30 or 40,000 block Somali votes.
Okay, so it was politics. Now, Governor Walz, did he admit any kind of incompetence here? I know he didn't admit any wrongdoing, but how about saying, gee, I wish I had done a better job? Did he do that?
No, he said he was, he was educated. He wasn't being straight in simply saying, this happened on my watch. I'm going to take responsibility. I want to fix it. This is exceptionally bad. This is epic fraud. It's historic. And instead, he was trying to just obfuscate. And that's just not going to, it's not going to pass the smell test here.
What was his main excuse for not taking action to stop this or alerting the FBI was going on?
Well, he said that they did, prosecute some folks. And as you mentioned, there were 98 people that have been charged thus far, and 85 of them happen to have been of Somali descent. And there's been 62 convictions. So he's pointing to that and saying, see, we've convicted some people. But it's like, Governor, this shouldn't have happened in the first place. This is after the fact. And the only reason why you were really taking this seriously is because of the whistleblowers and because of journalists like Nick Shirley that exposed it. So they're not sad it happened, Bill. They're just sad they got caught.
And the Attorney General, Ellison, did he have the same thing going, well, we were on it? Because in order to accumulate a $9 billion theft, that takes a while. That's not just 2 months. That's years and years and years of stealing money from the federal government.
They've got Ellison on tape conspiring with these folks, because at the end of the day, this is one of the things I told Walz. I said, well, there's one of two possibilities here. This is either you are in on it or you're too stupid to catch it. There's just no other. It's epic incompetence or it's, historic stupidity. And which one is it, Governor? And then he says, habada, habada, habada. He talks like Charlie Brown's teacher. he doesn't complete his sentences, he doesn't conjugate his verbs because he was caught red-handed and he has no excuse. And Bill, incidentally, I did ask him, you announced that you were running for re-election in September because of your, all the success you've had. And then 3.5 months later, you're out. Why? And then he said, well, I talked to my family, blah, blah, blah. It was because you got caught and you were going to lose the general election. That's how bad this is.
Is Ellison just a flunky?
Yeah, Ellison, he is smug. He's arrogant. He knows what he represents the state of Minnesota. They have a perpetual Democratic majority, and he just really doesn't care.
All right. Your peers on the committee, you said it was all about Trump. Are they blaming Trump for the Somali theft in Minnesota? Is that what they're trying to do?
No, the Democrats didn't talk about the Somali theft in Minnesota. They talked about Donald Trump pardoning. They always deny, counter accuse, deflect. When we talk about the issue at hand, they say we shouldn't be talking about this issue because it's really not a big deal. We should be talking about their agenda. And the fact of the matter is, in 2024, as you know, the American people said, no, we don't want your woke agenda. We want you to actually govern like adults. So that's why we're still in charge.
All right. So no Democrats stepped up and asked any tough questions in the hearing today?
No, not at all.
Okay. All right, Congressman, thank you very much. We appreciate it, and we hope we can talk again soon.